wire on the top of the fence. I've just been talking to the owner, and we've got a potential fire loss of in excess of a couple of £100,000. So it's not a small job by any means. It makes life.
A big loss like this means added pressure to come up with answers. Also on site is Bob Booth, a scenes of crime officer for the Avon and Somerset Police.
Well, what we've actually got, we're in the compound now, and as you can see, there's a very badly damaged group of cars here. For instance, this car, it has suffered radiated heat from this one. You've got burn damage that the fire has actually been travelling that away. The fire has been very, 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 very intense in this sort of location, but it doesn't mean that the fire started there. And this is the problem we've got to try and figure things out. There's a huge amount of information. I think the skill is taking all the information in and then dispensing with what is just additional gunge. There's a number of variables that you've got to take into account, but I know for a fact, because I've spoken to the crews, that it wasn't windy last night, so the wind hasn't pushed the fire. But what we've got to do is try and establish why, as opposed to when or where. The vehicles behind me, 1, 2 and a third just out of shot, are possible culprits for this fire starting, or indeed something happening in vicinity of those for the fire starting. At the moment, we would seem to have a mechanism for the fire starting in this part of the yard, spreading that way. The damage within this compartment is very, very similar to all the rest of the premises. The fire has actually spread from outside. It's gone up the building, up the roof, and radiated heat has actually set fire to all the combustible items in this particular room. And then it's spread laterally. It's gone into a workshop that way, gone into a workshop that way. The door itself tells us that even though it's very, very badly damaged, it had not been forced prior to our arrival, so it would appear that once again we're being drawn back out to a problem starting with the cars which were stored in the yard.
Pete has noticed something about the razor wire on the fence.
And when you last came, the razor wire was all up on top of the fence, and it was all where it should be. I mean, I can see it's come down in that corner, but I'll have to see Bob as to exactly why that would be. You know, it's come down very much heavily in that corner.
Pete takes a closer look and finds his first significant clue.
Stand on that and you're in, aren't you?
The team know that the burglar alarm was triggered last night, but this doesn't mean a certain break-in. It could have been set off by the fire itself.
Alarm system actuated last night? That is going to be very, very relevant, because if it went off? No, if it came up as a fault, or did it come up as an intruder? Because it depends what sort of monitored system it is. Because if somebody did bloody try and get into that fire door, yes, we know the detector's been destroyed after, but was it an intruder signal, or was it a fault signal?
I can check with that stuff.
Yeah.
The alarm went off at 1:17, but I had a call before that, so we would have had a call before that.
1:17. Oh, the alarm failed then?
The alarm
oh, that's
failed
fine. Yeah, well, in that case, it didn't. That was fire attack then. If we had a well-developed fire at 1:13, then that I would imagine the 1:17 is that contact on that door failing.
He made pumps full.
So the alarm went off after the fire had started. It seems to have been caused by the fire burning through the workshop door.
Bob, can we get anything off these cars on the doors? Can you get anything off there to see if they've been yanked open? Where did that dent come from, Bob, on there? Hang on, I'll get the list. I'll find out exactly what it is.
There's a strange mark on the side of one car which has caught their interest.
Did you have damage to the driver's door? to the passenger's door. That's the one where that police officer is.
The car is brand new. It shouldn't have had any dent at all before the fire.
Can I ascertain if we had any damage on that one, Bob?
Yeah.
Hey.
If you look at this dent here,
Bob's had a thought about the dent.
it's got a very definite fold in it. I think.
Yeah.
If you look at this has been bent out like.
See, that's one thing I can conclusively say that we wouldn't bother to do, because by the time we get here, it's open. Are those the only two? Well, that one's definitely got it, Bob, isn't it? The knee, the knee bend. Why that one? Why not this one? I wonder. Because of the radio, maybe something. Would anyone recognise it?
All that's left of the stereo is the empty shell. The rest could have been destroyed by fire, or it might have been stolen.
If you look at that there.
Yeah. And ditto there?
They're in the dents are in the right spot.
Yeah.
If you look at this one, and there.
Hang on, it is out of line, isn't it, that one? Yeah. In fact, that's superbly out of line, isn't it, there?
The team have only spent a few hours on the site, but already they've got a good idea of how things unfolded.
Well, here we are. We're now nearly 8 hours on after spending all day on this site, and we've got a result. Going through the debris of one of the vehicles, lo and behold, we find very strange marks on one side of the vehicle, which are actually where someone has forced their way into it. Although very, very difficult to initially find on a totally burnt-out vehicle. And then inside the vehicle, instead of there being a radio, there's nothing. Instead of there being a stereo, albeit destroyed by fire, there's nothing at all. And it would appear that some brainless cretin has caused in excess of, I'm led to believe, 200,000 quid's worth of damage, purely for the sake of a car radio. It's quite pathetic, absolutely pathetic.
It's a quick and incisive assessment of the scene, and with the fire now believed to have been started deliberately, the case is handed over to the police. It's now a criminal investigation. The damage to the showroom was so bad that part of it had to be demolished. The final bill will run to over £300,000.
Stay with us on UK Horizons. We're behind the scenes with the real-life rock and roll roadies, a mare band culture club in a few moments. I hope your granny's gone to bed.